Have you ever noticed how certain women just glow differently simply by surrounding themselves with the right community of people, the right female friendships? There truly is something about female friendships that nurtures your femininity in a way that is so unique. And I feel like it's so special that other relationships can't necessarily replicate the same way. And it's definitely something that you should never neglect when it comes to embracing your femininity. You can only go so far alone. So, hello, my beautiful ladies. Welcome to another episode of Mademoiselle Diaries. Today, we're talking all about female friendships, surrounding yourself with the right community, and how it shapes you into becoming the Mademoiselle that you're meant to be. The whole reason and premise of me actually starting Mademoiselle Diaries and having my own social club, Mademoiselle Society online, having these meetups, everything stems from my passion for healthy female friendships. And I have seen of how it actually changed my life in a way that I just never thought could be possible. I grew up in a rather big family, so I have four siblings. And honestly, growing up, I just relied on my family and my siblings to keep me entertained. And I would just share everything with them. And I think it's so beautiful to have that close knit relationship with their siblings. However, I relied so much on them that when it was time for us to actually have our own little lives, and I was in university, I moved out of home, I found it really, really difficult to just surround myself with other people and feel like I could fit in. I definitely underestimated the power of friendships. I thought that they were necessary, growing up when your parents tell you, no, you shouldn't hang out with your friends. Like it was ingrained in my brain. And I thought, like, okay, friends are just bad. They're bad influence. I should just stick with my family. It had become such a strong belief in me, but no, 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 no. Like female friendships are so key and we cannot do life alone. Eventually you grow up, you become your own adult, and you need a greater support system than just your own family. You will create your new families, you will meet new people, and this is why female friendships and just having a right community is so crucial. The first few years of university, honestly, I felt extremely lonely, the loneliest that I've ever felt in my life. I felt homesick. I didn't really know if I liked the groups that I was hanging out with. So I would isolate myself a lot of the times. And I just didn't think it was safe for me to just open up with everyone. So I just really isolated myself. And that really created this emptiness inside of me. I felt like I just did not have friends who liked me. I felt like I was just going through it alone, that I was the only one going through this problem. And it's honestly, number one, I wasn't really putting much effort into my female friendships or my friendships in general. I wasn't investing my time and resources and energy into these people because I just didn't think it was important. I thought that, oh no, I'm just in my hustle mode. I'm studying for my exams. I should be alone. No, life is just so much bigger than just work, uni, and all these things. Actually, I would say that your friends, your community is so much more important than your work. What is the point of having good grades, having a great job if no one is around you? And little by little, I would start investing time in my friendships, my female friendships. I would hang out with a lot of girls one on one. We just go in such deep discussions, and I would feel super energized by the end of it. And I remember going for an exchange in Australia, and I met this one friend. Her name is Afla, and we just stick like that, like throughout the whole semester. And we did everything together. We were reading together, doing art together, going to jazz clubs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And we just kept inspiring one another, to dress well, to dress fancy, hold ourselves to a higher standard. And that really, really, really energized me. I also saw her transformation from when I first met her to now, like we were really inspiring one another. We're like this throughout the whole semester. And that created this one spark in my head where I was just like, whoa, if I could do this for a living, like I would love to just inspire women to become their most elegant selves. This is the best thing ever. And funnily enough, I met my partner during that exchange semester, and he introduced me to community groups, connect groups. And that blew my mind. I was like, whoa, people actually meet regularly, they meet weekly to talk about their faith, to talk about their spiritual walk. Like, this is crazy. Like, they meet regularly to just get better in life. And I was like so mind blown. And I connected so well with this group that I wanted to be part of more groups. I joined a book club, an all woman book club. We read Meaning of Marriage together and learning about relationships together and just listening to these women talk. It was so inspiring. All this happened when I started Mademoiselle Diaries, my Instagram, and I just shared everything in real time. I was like, whoa, this is the coolest thing ever to be surrounded with such a vibrant and supportive community. I always surrounded myself with people who just want to go out all the time, who gossip all the time, and that was what I knew. But to be part of such a supportive community, and specifically a faith-based community, this is something that I've never seen such support and such love from people. This really opened up my mind to a whole new world, and that's why I created Mademoiselle Diaries. I really wanted to share, first of all, my learnings, but second, my second step was to actually create an online space, an online community where we now actually meet, weekly for book clubs, for feminine hours, for movie nights. Like, this is my dream come true. And obviously, step three is for us to meet in real life, but that will come. So, ladies, now let's talk about the key qualities that you should be looking out for in friends. I'm going to put this number one, but having friends that have shared values, faith if possible. To be honest, I also have friends from different faiths, and I so love that. I love hearing different perspectives, and we can get into conversations like that. For me, my most important thing is for my friends to actually have a relationship with God and to have a deeper purpose than one from just the world, from what the world tells them to do. I really do value friends, who seek guidance every single day. They walk in humility and they know that they're not the most powerful being on this planet, that they know that there's a higher being out there who has a purpose for each and one of us, and for my friends to also walk in that purpose. I have come to an awkward point where in the past I didn't really have a relationship with God, but now that I do, my relationship with God is everything to me. I can only go to a certain point with friends because everything about my life is from God. And I cannot talk about certain things if they don't have that relationship with God as well. So if you do have that and you find that is so important, I would recommend, to just look for spaces where you can find these women of faith. One of my wonderful friends who is very much active in Mademoiselle Society, Sylvia. She is such a woman of God. I met her randomly when I was sitting in church. I looked to my right and she asked if she could pray for me, and I was like, yeah, sure. That prayer just hit so deep. She knew nothing about me, yet she prayed for that I was going through at the time. Asked for her number right away. We hung out, we went to the beach, and now she's still part of my life. And put yourself in situations like this. I used to go to church alone because I didn't really have a lot of friends who were in the faith at the time. And I've met such lovely people from it. I met another girl from that church who started this book club, this woman's book club that I then was part of. And I'm telling you, ladies, that there's nothing like female friendships. Like this, these women really prayed for me in times where I really needed it. They called me higher. They asked me difficult questions. I remember Sylvia, I don't know if she's watching this, but before New Year's, she really asked me, like, Aurelia, do you know what your purpose is? What are you doing with your life? Are you actually walking in your purpose? And I did not know what to say. I was just like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm really unfulfilled with what I'm doing, and I'm just doing this for other people. I don't even know why I'm seeking a job from this country. It just did not make sense. I'm really grateful for her because if she didn't ask me these difficult questions, and honestly, I could have been offended, but that really helped me and changed my life. So imagine having, these women of God who support you in a way that they care so much about you in eternity. That is just the highest form of love. And I really want you ladies to be able to experience that. This is where I really want to support you. That's why I created Mademoiselle Society, for us to chat with one another about our current struggles. How can we inspire one another to live more and more in the purpose that God called us. So that is number one, having shared values and faith. If your friend actually has a purpose, how is she living out her life? If she doesn't have that source from a higher power, she may be looking in the wrong things. Or if she doesn't have the right mindset, the right language, how she carries herself, these are so important. And don't underestimate the power that friends have over you in your life and how you live it out. It actually rubs off on you. And scientific studies always talk about this, how the five people that you're closest to, you will become them. In the Bible, it says bad company corrupts good morals. So no matter how morally good you are, no matter how many good habits you have, if you're surrounded with bad company, it will rub off on you. Another aspect that I find super important in healthy female friendships is the conversations that you're having. Me and my current friends, we don't gossip anymore. The friends that I have in my life, no gossip anymore. And if I hear friends, starting talking about other people, and that is like the main topic of conversation, I understand sometimes it could be just venting. But if it's constantly talking about other people and you're not talking about your goals, your current struggles, what you need help with, how can we call each other higher, that is a big red flag for me. And I would just avoid hanging out with that person. And I've literally, cut down time on certain friends just because I don't want to be surrounded with gossip. I know how I can be so tempted in gossip just because I grew up gossiping and I thought it was normal and that, oh, that's how friends bond. But no. That's not how true friends bond. Thirdly, the most beautiful thing about healthy female friendships is having people who actually support you, who support your dreams and your vision, and you don't feel awkward talking about your dreams. I did a Q&A a few weeks ago on my Instagram. One of the people actually asked me, what's my current struggle? And honestly, my biggest struggle was um, how since starting Mademoiselle Diaries, I feel like I had to shun myself a little bit, growing a platform so fast under a year by God's grace. It's all by God's grace. I just felt like I had to belittle myself a little bit because people get uncomfortable and they don't really even ask about my platform. They don't really support or, comment, like all these things. I just felt like I had to hide it from people still to this day. I realized a few weeks ago, like, I should not be hiding these parts of my success. I should not be hiding this. I should be proud and happy to share this with my friends. And the people who aren't supportive, then they're not my friends. The people who don't ask about, what's happening with me and who are involved in it, they're not real friends. Honestly, this is such a struggle for me to this day, and I'm kind of going through it where I feel like I try my best to go all out to just show support for my friends, that I am there for them, that I'm rooting for them, and I really put in such effort in praising them and their works. And sometimes it feels like it's not reciprocated, and it's okay, I kind of expected that, but it's something that I kind of had to learn. As long as I have a few people around me who are genuinely super supportive and who love what I do and who want to be part of it, that is fine. That is all I need. I don't need 10,000 friends who are so about my business, about what I do. I just need a few people who are just extremely supportive and who are very much involved and who celebrate me. You shouldn't feel like you have to belittle yourself just to appease other people. I recently learned this tall puppy syndrome, when someone is doing well and that person kind of has to like make themselves smaller just so that the other people feel comfortable around them. Don't be around those kind of people, who make you feel bad about your success. I want you ladies to be bold about your struggles, about your dreams, and not be afraid to share that with your friends. Just see how they react, and maybe they'll react with, wow, that is amazing, that is good, I'm rooting for you. Maybe not, but if not, that's fine. That's just your sign. That's a yellow flag that you should be looking out for. And obviously, lastly, humor and laughter is the best part of friendship. It is what brings lightness in our bodies, especially as women. So now I wanted to give you ladies insights on how you can actually find these women. For me, going to faith-based groups or spaces like a church, or if you go to a mosque and you really try to take your spiritual walk seriously, you go to these spaces, you will naturally meet women who are like-minded. For me, I joined connect groups as well. I recently moved to Indonesia, so I made sure that I was connected with a group, and I meet with them now every fortnight, and they're just the most wonderful people ever. We just have the most wonderful conversations on our walks, and it's just the best time. Really, I feel really supported, and I don't feel alone in my walk with God. And yes, I really believe that the enemy really attacks your mind when you're isolated. So make sure that you're surrounded with people who ask about your faith and your spiritual walk. You can also join book clubs, whether it's online. I have a book club if you ladies want to join. It's a classics book club, or offline book clubs. If you look at book club on Instagram and you put in your city, I'm pretty sure you will be able to find. The more that you take this aspect seriously, and the more that you take yourself seriously as well, your passion seriously, the more you'll be able to find these women with the same interests, whether you go to a Pilates class to feel healthier, just be smiling, be inviting and be warm to people around you, because that is how you can actually make friends. You don't have to do all these tactics. Literally just go out, put a smile on your face, be warm, be inviting, and people will be naturally drawn to you. If I was all moody and closed off that day when I met my friend Sylvia, she probably wouldn't have asked to pray for me. So who knows? My beautiful ladies, I hope that that was helpful and a reminder for you ladies to actually take this seriously. We're going to be talking all about female friendships and the power of community and feminine hour this week. So make sure to join us in Mademoiselle Society. I love you, Mademoiselle, so much, and I wish you guys a blessed week. Mwah.